What is up, everybody? It's Copes here, and as you may know, Season 7 is about to end in a couple of weeks, and Season 8 will begin. So at the end of each Fortnite season, I like making a bunch of end-of-season videos, as I would like to call them. I will be ranking every Season 7 skin from worst to best, pickaxe, glider, all that type of stuff. But in today's video, I thought I would go over some of my favorite items from each rarity this season. And by the way, guys, use code CobesMind or Elijah's dad will get you banned from Fortnite. I'm sorry to tell you. Starting out with my 5 favorite uncommon items to come out of this season, I had to give it to the Verge. There are about 5 uncommon guy skins that I would say are decent to good skins. The rest are pretty bad. And I feel like the Verge is one of the only skins in this game that isn't a clone or a reskin of a girl uncommon skin. Basically, every uncommon guy skin is a reskin or a very similar skin to another uncommon girl skin. I believe most uncommon girl skins in this game look very amazing. But let's see, we have the Red-Nosed Ranger, which is a clone of the Red-Nosed Raider. The Red-Nosed Ranger is not a good skin. We have the Striped Soldier, which is a decent skin, I would say, but it's a clone of the Whistle Warrior. Let's move on. We have the Star-Spangled Trooper, which is a clone of the Star-Spangled Ranger. I think the girl skin she tops him out, and it makes him look a lot worse in my mind. We have the Crimson Scout, which is a decent skin, but I think the girl skin does look better. But even when it doesn't happen, like with the Brainiac, which is a creative uncommon guy skin, I feel like it just doesn't really do it justice. I don't think that skin looks all that great. But the Verge, finally we got an uncommon guy skin that isn't a clone or a reskin of a girl uncommon skin that actually looks good. That's why I like this skin so much. It stands out as an amazing uncommon guy skin that isn't a clone, finally. The next item we're going over is the Inverted Blade. I feel like this is such a clean, simple pickaxe that has some color to it. It has a little bit of style to it as well. It's something that you should look at and at least think about buying, even if you don't end up buying it. The next item I had to give it to is the Cookie Cutter. I really do believe this one stands out as a good kitchen utensil pickaxe. We've gotten so many of those, and some of them are just decent. I would say most of them are just decent, but this one stands out as a really clean, simple, good pickaxe with some color to it. We have the Axeroni that really doesn't have too much color to it, the Patty Whacker, which really doesn't have any color to it, the Scrambler, which really doesn't have any color to it, but finally, at least the stick or the handle you're holding has some color to it. The kitchen utensil pickaxes are usually decent, I would say at best, but I think the Cookie Cutter is actually a good pickaxe you should think about buying. The next one is very surprising to you and me, the Bootstraps. I think this one stands out as the worst, ugliest pickaxe in this game, but it's so soothing to use. If you use it, you're just gonna hear this nice splash of water every time you hit something. It's not annoying, it's not abrasive. I really do think you should try it out. It's one of those pickaxes in this game that really has such an amazing sound that you just wanna go play Fortnite and use the pickaxe to hear the sound. I felt like it was only right to show what I'm talking about in this clip. The Equilibrium is the last item we're going over. It is right here. This did come with the Paradox and the Lace skin. Guys, look at all the uncommon gliders. Just take a look at them right now. You will notice nothing stands out. Nothing stands out. Even if, it has a hole in the glider, it's still a regular glider design. The Equilibrium is the only uncommon glider that I know of that stands out as something unique and creative. I love that about this glider. I think it definitely is something you should at least look at and maybe think about purchasing. Moving on to my 5 favorite rare items to come out this season. The first one, the fish stick with the saltwater satchel. The back bling is really nothing to write home about. I think it is pretty garbage. It sort of reminds me of the Krampus's back bling, if you know what I'm talking about. I think they're both just pretty bad. It's just like a sack on your back, basically. That's what it looks like at the very least. But guys, I think the fish stick is good enough for you to go out of your way to purchase, even if it doesn't have a good back bling. I think the fish stick stands out as my favorite meme skin in this game. I love it for some reason. I really don't know why exactly, but it might be because it's orange, and orange is my favorite color. The orange and blue really mesh well together. I don't know why, guys. I know this is ugly. I do, but just go try it out if you haven't. This is one of those skins that I just love. It's one of my guilty pleasure skins in this game, I would say. Moving on, we have the Coral Cruiser, and this one, I don't know why, but good job, Epic Games. We have the bootstraps on this list, the fish stick, and the Coral Cruiser. They all come from the same set. The Coral Cruiser has the best sound of any glider throughout this whole entire game. I really hope they make a soundtrack for it because honestly, guys, I just fell in love with the sound of this glider immediately. I don't care what it looks like. I don't care if it was trash, amazing. It doesn't really matter all that much because the sound of it, it's just so pleasing to me. I love using it. But thankfully, it's a pretty small glider that I think really looks cool and creative. It has some little fungi growing out of it or coral growing out of it that move and dance along to the sound that have faces as well. I think it's just a perfect glider, guys. I really hope you go out and try it. The next rare item is the Vision. And if you guys know me, if you've watched any of my streams, I do stream on Twitch almost daily. Go follow me. I would have to say this one is by far one of the most creative pickaxes we've gotten in this game, even if it is a reskin of the Icebreaker. You can't really even tell that it's a reskin of the Icebreaker. I don't really know if it is. I mean, they both have a similar design, but I would say this one stands out to me as one of the most creative pickaxes that you have to buy. It's very cheap for what you're getting, and I promise you will use it for the rest of your life. I'm definitely going to be using this pickaxe whenever I can. Moving on, we have the Maven with the Techie. I think the Maven is a pretty simple, sort of boring design. I mean, we've seen a ton of other skins similar to the Maven. I still do like it though. But I think the Techie is good enough to push this one over to one of my favorite items in Season 7 for rare items at the very least. But Maven and Techie, the combo together, really makes this so amazing. I think the skin, again, is somewhat plain, but I still do like it. I would say, guys, this back bling is universal. It goes with every single skin. It's half pink, half red, and I think it looks amazing. It reminds me of just like an Apple laptop on your back. The last rare item had to be the Turbine, one of my favorite pickaxes all time. And same with the Vision, these two are just so good, you have to try them out. I would say the Turbine is more for the sound of it, and I know I do that a lot. I don't know why exactly, but if there's a pickaxe that has an amazing sound to it, regardless of the look of it, if it has an amazing feel, and that's something I can't really describe. Certain pickaxes just have a feel to them. Some of them feel heavier. Maybe it's because of the sound or the look of them. Some of the pickaxes feel better because they just feel light. It feels like you could swing that thing all day and just maybe even you're chopping faster than other pickaxes, it seems like. But Turbine overall, it just feels amazing. The sound of it is amazing. That's why I put it on this list, regardless of looks. Moving on to my 5 favorite epic items to come out this season, I had to give it to the Paradox with the Eternal Back Bling. The Paradox, when it first came out, I was sort of skeptical of it. I was like, that's kind of weird. What is that even? I don't know exactly what that is. But I think the Paradox really stands out as a very creative, epic skin, or just skin in general, that we're probably never gonna see anything like it again. If I even slightly like a very creative skin, that means I'm gonna love it a lot more than something that I sort of like, that's sort of just a plain design. So let's say like the Commando. Let's say I like that skin slightly. Well, it's not like I'm gonna fall in love with that skin because it's so simple. But for something that's a little bit more unique, sort of out there, but I slightly like it, then you know what? I'm gonna fall in love with it. That's kind of how I feel with this one. The back bling, it's horrible, but I think the skin makes up for it. The next item we're going over is the lace with the Stitches back bling. The Stitches back bling is one of my favorite in the game all time. I would say I would probably put it in top 10, maybe even in top 5. It's a universal back bling. Universal means it works with every skin, and it works well with every skin. This one sort of reminds me of the hatchling or the Shiro, but I feel like those don't necessarily go well with every single skin in this game. But I feel like the Stitches is very similar to those, but it fits in with every skin. Guys, I love the back bling. I couldn't speak more highly of it. And the lace, a very creative girl skin that we're probably not going to see anything like ever again. I love these two, guys. I love the Paradox and the lace, and I love the Stitches back bling. Moving on, we have Krampus's little helper, and I'm really glad we got sort of an evil reindeer design instead of like a really happy, oh, I'm Santa's little reindeer. At least we got Krampus's reindeer instead of Santa's reindeer. That's how I feel about it, guys. I love the sort of dark theme it does have. This one, it's just an amazing glider that if you don't have it yet, at least look into it, and I rarely recommend gliders. Moving on, we have the Snowfoot and the Snow Star. I really don't feel like explaining this one. I don't know how. You know, some of these other ones I have a real love for. I feel like this one sort of just made the list because it's decent enough, and there weren't really too many epic items in this game that I absolutely loved to put on this list in its place. Moving on to the last epic item for this list, I had to give it to the Evil Eye. I feel like this one's a 6 out of 10 in my mind, where Vision is like a 9 out of 10 or almost a 10 out of 10 in my mind. Maybe it's because the Vision is out and then they released this one that I don't like this one as much because it's basically a clone of the Vision, or it has a very similar feel. But guys, in all honesty, there weren't too many other epic items to add on this list. I feel like this one's decent enough to make it, but it's definitely not one of the most amazing items we've ever gotten. Alright guys, the last items we have to go over are the legendary items. I'm gonna be honest with you. There's one good legendary item to come out of this season. And we'll go through it. There really weren't too many. I feel like maybe last season there were more legendary items, or at least better legendary items. But I feel like we didn't get too many this season. We got the Krampus here. I didn't really feel like putting it on the list. I think the back bling isn't good enough to really push it over as well. We have the Glimmer as well. Another skin I really didn't care for. I would honestly say I don't like it as much as the Krampus, and I think the Krampus is decent. I think this one's probably like a 4 out of 10 or even a 3.5 out of 10 in my mind. But the cape she has is pretty dope. I think I wouldn't put it on the list though. I really don't feel like it deserved it. DJ Bop, good back bling, or at least decent back bling. Horrible skin. I think the only item to make it on the legendary list was the Arc. I think it's an amazing skin. The back bling, however, isn't all that good. The Ice Queen, definitely not good enough to make it. Wow, guys, we really didn't get too many legendary items, and the ones we did, they just weren't good enough. It's not like we got a legendary glider this season, a legendary pickaxe, so the skins were really the only option. We did get enough to fill out this list, but they just weren't good enough for me to really sit here and talk highly of them. So, you know what guys, the Arc is the only one to make the legendary list for skins I like this season. That's it. That's all guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you did enjoy the video. If you guys did, drop a like, subscribe, use my code in the item shop. But tell me what you guys think about these items this season. Do you guys like them in general, or do you think they're mostly bad, mostly decent, mostly amazing? What do you guys think? Tell me in the comment section. Bye guys.